This hill is called Croch Yall, and on this hill in the early 19th century there took place an event which signified the coming of a major change in Lewis' life that has lasted up to the present day. That was the coming of evangelical Protestantism, Calvinism. The minister who'd been in Uig for 50 years belonged to the state church, and he was called Hugh Munro. Very well-liked, educated and lax minister. Now, living in Easter Ross at Bran was Lady Hood Mackenzie, who owned Lewis at that time. And she got attached to this new brand of faith. She started bringing evangelical ministers to Lewis. And the first one she brought was Alexander MacLeod to Uig here in Balnakeely. He came in 1824, setting up strict meetings, Sabbatarianism, a catechist who would visit homes to ensure that people knew the Shorter Catechism, which had been set up in Puritan Westminster. Now, a number of things had strengthened it. It took a long time for the Gaelic Bible to be translated, and the first version of the total Gaelic Bible was published in 1800. Linked with that was a voluntary system of Gaelic schools. This was before the coming of state schools. Itinerant teachers moved round, most of them linked to this new dogma that had come. So the reading was done predominantly through the Bible, predominantly in Gaelic, making this new gospel more accessible to people. Attached to the movement on the mainland was the most important preacher of the time, Dr. MacDonald of Ferrintosh. And he moved around, and on one of the times he was heading for St Kilda, a storm made him stop off here at Uig, and just by chance apparently at the time of the Uig communions. Now, communions here happen on a seasonal basis, so they happen in a place like Uig twice a year for most of a week. And on the Sunday of the summer communions in 1827, Dr. MacDonald was here from Ferrintosh, the guru of the movement, along with Alexander MacLeod, and people came to an open-air meeting on this hill from Harris to Ness, from all over Lewis, and it's reckoned that 9,000 people assembled here to hear this new vital version of Christianity that was coming to the place. This new Bible was believed literally. Everything that was between its covers. That's what made it fundamental. And of the various vehicles that was used to infiltrate this into the community was Sabbatarianism, strict adherence to Sunday. So that's why to this day our ferry sits in Stornoway on Sunday, and only within the last couple of years has air travel begun. How it fitted so well into Lewis' life is the strength of family life. People are known to hundreds, sometimes thousands of people. Your social adherence is primarily to your family, and you keep your family's good name even more than you keep your own good name. So to this day, teenagers convert because the concept of conversion was part of it, that you had an epiphany which told you that God in Christ was speaking to you and that you were saved and that mankind was basically fallen. It spread like wildfire because there was no alternative narrative in Lewis to meet it. The traditional folklore was fading, although strong elements of song and tradition survived casually among the people. But the institutions of school and church became very, very important. People read the Bible every morning, every night, in their home. They had to go to church to baptise their children. The catechist would then visit to see that they were bringing up their children as they had promised. Now, how change of worldview comes in within such a setup is an amazing part of Lewis' life. Lewis stands out in the Scottish scene as being more Calvinist now than any other part of Scotland. And when you're standing on Knockhill, you cannot but think of how this new worldview had integrated so thoroughly that strong elements of it are still